That optimal state, the window of tolerance. This is the zone where your nervous system is regulated enough to actually process new information.
Yes.
If you are outside that window,
Yeah.
either hyper-aroused in an anxious panic or hypo-aroused in a numb shutdown, this is the zone your brain nervous system is regulated enough to actually process new information.
Yes.
Healing is outside that window.
All right. Sorry about that. Just because I am live on another platform right now, and we're going to have like noise interference. But hopefully you enjoyed that audio, and hopefully it gave you a little bit of a glimpse of what we're going to be talking about today. I am going to open up my notes and get started. Thank you for being in here. Thank you for your patience. Hopefully that audio was helpful to you in giving you a little bit of a background as to what I'm going to be talking about. Again, my name is Dr. Trish. For those that have just come into the room, I am a seasoned and well-grounded health educator for about 20 plus years now. I am also a professor at a university here in New York, and I'm also a coach. I've been a coach for quite some time. Thank you, Nooni. I've been a coach for where can we purchase this audiobook? Stick around because I created the audiobook, and I do have a platform that I offer for free for individuals that are ready to come in and do the hard work of healing. Okay. And Noonie, you're going to get your invitation soon. I just haven't had a chance to get on a computer until I was scheduled to do my live to send you the invitation from the platform, Noonie. But I created that audio on my own, and I did it as an intro just to kind of get the room warmed up while I get myself together here since good. I'm glad you found it amazing. Education is powerful, right? And if it wasn't for education, I'm an educator, but if it wasn't for education where I had to take on education for myself in order to understand and create an awareness of where I needed my own healing process to take place. So that takes me to what I was going to say next. I am a healing coach. I've been a health coach for quite some time. I've helped people with their own health and wellness, lose weight, eat healthier, manage chronic conditions, prevent chronic conditions from happening. That's what a health educator does, and that's what I've done out in the community, but with private clients as well in the past 20 years that I've been working as a health educator. But most recently, I've taken my coaching practice into more of a healing theme, a healing specification. And I created my own healing program from my own personal journey of going through a healing process. And you're not going to find my signature program out there anywhere. So I didn't replicate it. I didn't look up other people's healing programs while I was creating my own. I literally took every facet of my own healing process and I've created a signature program where I have my own clients in a coaching signature, my coaching signature um, uh, subscription with me as their healing coach. So more about that coming up in just a bit, but I would love to get started, guys. I would love to get started. So I already did a little bit of an introduction. We have our topic today. Do you find yourself still stuck in patterns you don't understand? Do you find yourself still stuck in patterns you don't understand? Let me know if this resonates with you guys. Let me know if this topic title resonates with you guys. Okay. I am also going to go live on one more platform. If you guys can just bear with me and we will get started. I'm sorry I can't play the audio anymore because we're going to have feedback. I have several devices and screens up in front of me right now, and we will have feedback, and it's just not going to be good. It's not going to be good. So let's see. I'm going to go live on just one more platform. You know, it's difficult for me. Thank you so much for your patience. It's difficult for me to come on live regularly here on TikTok. As a matter of fact, all my platforms, just because I juggle. I juggle teaching my courses. I juggle meeting with my students, teaching, sorry, lesson planning, grading, and it's a lot to juggle. And I don't just come in here and wing it. You know what I'm saying? I prepare, I have my notes together, I'm very intentional. But most recently I put it on my calendar in my bio that I will be going live every Wednesday at 2 p.m. So hopefully I can do more than that. Let's see how it goes because I just started my new semester today, but I don't teach classes until Monday and Tuesday. And so that frees up the rest of the week for me. So hopefully the schedule will work and I can see how it goes and build a momentum and potentially go live one other day. I think I would like to go live on Fridays. I know Friday is kind of quiet, you know, and kind of slow on the platforms. And I understand that, you know, it's Friday. But that might be the other day, potentially Saturday. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So let's see if I can get myself situated here and stop talking, Patricia, and get it going so we can start our um, topic here. You know, every single platform has its own kind of thing you have to set up, and like it all takes a few minutes. That okay, what's happening here? It's not letting me go. That is my dog. There's probably somebody at the door delivering some stuff, guys. Do you see? This is going live. It's not letting me go live on Facebook. I'm not sure why. All right. All right, guys. This is real life. This is my dog. He should stop at some point barking. I apologize. All right, so let's get started. All right, so welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Okay, if you are just joining, drop a hello in the comments. He is really distracting me right now. It is difficult to go live, guys, when you have a crazy schedule and you have a dog that starts barking as soon as you go live. Give me 1 second, guys. Stop. Stop it. Go to your bed now. Go to your bed. Go to your bed. Stop it. All right. Sorry, guys. I apologize. All right. Okay, everybody's here, right? All right, let's get started again. That was really distracting me. So, welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. If you're just joining, drop a hello in the chat. I know you're here and we are getting ready to get started with the notes. Tell me where you are watching from. I'm in New York City. Tell me where you're watching from. For TikTok, we really do need to engage in the comments. Okay, so TikTok can share this with other individuals that need to hear this message. That would be wonderful. I'm also gonna open up my shop on the TikTok so I can get some more people in here. I am wearing these glasses that are from TikTok, guys, and I really, really do like them. I really like their look. So I'm gonna pin this. Okay, and then hopefully, because I opened up my shop, something, I mean, I don't do shoppables on TikTok, but it does help bring people into the live, and hopefully we'll get some more people coming in. So, where is everybody coming in from? Where is everybody coming in from? Let me know. Let me know. I am in New York. I'm in New York. And I would love to know what attracted you to the topic today, to the title today. Still stuck in patterns you don't understand. What attracted you to that? Do you find yourself as if you are experiencing certain types of patterns, certain things about certain behaviors that keep coming up over and over again in situations and circumstances, and you're kind of like saying, wait, what's going on? You know, you're paying attention to it. The audio is what drew me in. Oh, good. I'm on the West Coast. Oh, good. All right. Welcome in, Benedictus. Benedictus. Please let me know if I said that correctly. Please let me know. Why did it pin? This TikTok is great. Why did it pin a ring? I didn't pin that. All right, I'm gonna leave it like that. So in my shop, guys, if you like these glasses, they're in there. And I don't know why it pinned something completely that I did not touch on. Um, so good, I did Benedictus, good. Um, so the audio is what attracted you to come in. Good. I'm glad I got that feedback from you because I know it's something that I can do in the near future. That was a really long audio. That audio, I didn't mean it to make it that long, but it was 20 minutes long. So I wasn't going to play all of it. But if you stick around and you can find out about my school platform, it is free to join. And I will have that very same audio along with a along with a video audio, an infographic, as well as a reflective exercise journal that will be all part of that particular lesson. So in my school platform, there are many modules um, and that I put up there for the ladies that are in my school platform that are doing their own healing process at their own pace. Right. So that is one of the things that I offer. I never want funds to be a barrier to someone's healing process. I've been there. I know I need, at one point in my life, I know I needed to heal, and I was desperate for healing, to go through my healing process. I was desperate. I didn't know what it was going to look like. I didn't know what it was going to entail. I don't know if it involved individuals. I didn't know what it was going to be, but I was desperate for a healing process. And I never would want finances to be a stumbling block for anybody. So it is a free school platform. I'll talk about it in a bit as to how you can request to participate in it and become a member. I also which is another tier of service, I offer coaching. I offer group coaching and I offer individual coaching. Okay. And I'm also currently working on trying to make this my healing coaching program available to women in my own community and in my own neighborhood community. I live in Queens, New York, and I am getting interest from organizations in my area that they want me to potentially come in as guest speakers or do workshops and do webinars. So that is something else that I'm currently working on in order to offer this not only virtually, but also face to face through locations that will have me come and speak and provide workshops for women that are interested and that need a healing process in their lives. So it's really exciting stuff, everything that's happening. But it is a lot of work and it takes a lot of my time, but I love doing it. I love seeing other women in their own healing journey and just really growing in themselves and seeing what is possible on the other side of their healing experience. So let's get started. Let's get started, okay? Um, we're going to focus on five core segments, okay, in the live. We're going to focus on childhood development and how the nervous system gets wired, okay? Childhood development and how the nervous system gets wired, okay? We're also going to focus on how conditioning shows up in adult life. Uh, in particular, five specific patterns, okay, that you guys will be able to recognize, okay, in your own life. Five specific patterns. So, how does conditioning show up in adult life? When I present what I do to an audience that doesn't know what I do, I say I work with high functioning women that are particularly of the Gen X generation, right? Members of the Gen X generation, like myself, that have a conditioning or had a conditioning in their development. So, what does that mean, right? How does a conditioning show up? How do we see this take place in our life, right? So, I'm going to talk about what that is, but I'm also going to give you five specific patterns that you will be able to recognize and identify this conditioning, okay? The third thing, okay, the third component or segment in today's live is talking about how the body keeps a score, which is a book. I meant to put it in my shop so I can pin it and it be part of the experience today. Well, the live, but I didn't get a chance to do that. But I'm sure everybody's heard of the book, The Body Keeps the Score. Okay. So I'm going to do an integration. I'm going to do an integration as to why insight alone doesn't heal the nervous system. A lot of individuals, and I found myself there, gathering a lot of information, just researching and reading and reading and reading and researching, right? I'm a researcher, I'm an educator. So that's, the first thing I did. I didn't realize until I wasn't healing. I was gaining a lot of information, but I wasn't healing until I decided to start going about it a little bit different and applying what I was learning into my own life, right? I couldn't finish that book. It was triggering. Okay. I can understand why it's triggering. I can understand why it's triggering. And maybe you've accessed enough of the information in the book, right? I have that, for now. and you can access the rest later on. I have that book on my bookshelf. It is a book I will never get rid of and that I refer back to from time to time because it's always giving me new insights, right? And it's always speaking to me and my healing journey in a different way. The statistics may have changed, right? Because he's very big on statistics in there, but the information is still the same. So I'm going to do an integration of the body keeps the score, why insight alone doesn't heal the nervous system, and the healing and how I'll integrate it with my own healing path roadmap. Okay. We'll talk about that. So the fourth component, okay, or segment that will be a part of this live is what are the practical tools and the breaking cycle, okay? What are the practical tools and how do we break the cycle? How do we break the cycle? So we will talk about that. And what, last but not least, the last segment is what embodied freedom actually looks like. What is embodied freedom actually look like? The transformation and the vision. Hello, Jen. Welcome in. Welcome in. I am live on two of my TikTok accounts and on the YT. I was unsuccessful going live on Facebook. That's all right. Um, some new button or something new that they updated that I haven't experienced before. And I wasn't going to try to figure it out. That's okay. All right, so let's get into segment number one. Let's get into segment number one. Okay, guys. So understanding childhood development and conditioning. Understanding childhood development and conditioning. Okay. So here's where we need to start. Okay. We literally have to start at the beginning. Okay. We literally have to start at the beginning. If you're going to undergo a healing journey, you kind of have to go back in time and try to remember some things, okay, that you're going to have to be reflective over. And I think for me, what really helped me was my understanding process. I need to understand. I'm very logical and sometimes analytical, but very logical person. I need to understand, how does 2 + 2 = 4, you know? Um, and that is very helpful to someone's healing journey, understanding and reflecting. Okay. Reflecting may be very hard at times. Reflecting could be very painful. Okay. And even creating that awareness of what happened in our childhoods could be very, very painful. This is not an easy process. This is a painful process. It is a painful process. But boy, can I say it is so worth it. It is so worth it. I can't even imagine where I would be today if it wasn't for my healing journey. Okay. I know I have so much to offer and so many great things to do still in this lifetime, like what I'm doing now, helping other women heal if I didn't go through my own healing journey. All right. So from the time you were born, your brain was doing something remarkable. Okay. It was writing itself based on what it was observing and experiencing and being taught. So, what it was observing, experiencing, and being taught. Okay. So, from very, very young, all right, the brain was already taking in information, what it was experiencing, learning, like what it was observing, experiencing, and it being taught, what it was learning. Okay. So this is not in the classroom, right? But in your home, in your home, in your family, in the dynamics taking place around you, in the dynamics taking place around you. There's a field of research in developmental psychology that tells us the first 7 years of life are the most critical period for emotional and relational development. The first 7 years of life are the most critical periods for emotional and relational development. This is when we form what psychologists call, okay, the internal working model. The internal working model. Essentially, it is our blueprint, okay? And this blueprint tells us, is the world safe? Am I lovable? Can I trust people? What do I have to do to get my needs met? Okay, this internal working model that your brain conjures up through what it observes, experiences, it learns, right? It creates a blueprint that tells it, is the world safe? Am I lovable? Can I trust people? What do I have to do to get my needs met? All right. All right, guys. Let's keep going. If you guys have any questions, any comments, please put them in the chat. We got to get the chat going, or else, I really can't reach a lot of people on TikTok, especially TikTok, right? The other platforms is something else. That's more based on followers, but TikTok is special in the case that, thank you for your daily heart me, that, getting your daily heart me, tapping the screen, liking the live, sharing the live, right? And even I think it's one coin gifts that I put up there for TikTok. It's only one coin. Those little stars, I've never seen them before. They're completely new to me. Just throwing whatever you can. Okay. I don't come on TikTok to become rich. I come on TikTok to identify who my audience is. Thank you for the populars, and to help them heal. That is it. So I'm not here to monetize. I'm not a TikTok live host, even though that's where I started. Because when I first came on the platform, I didn't know nothing. And so that's what everybody was talking about, and that's where I started. But I came on this platform because I wanted to start a new platform. I wanted to kind of start fresh. Thank you for getting your daily heart me. And that's kind of like where things started. But then I had to remember what was the original reason that I came here on, and I got myself together and I got back to where I was supposed to be, which is what I'm doing now. So I appreciate the comments, the tapping, the sharing, the getting your daily harmony, all of it. I really, really appreciate it, because it'll help my platform and my followers grow. And I want to help as many women as I can. All right, so let's keep going. So now here's where it gets really important. Okay, if you grew up in a home where love felt conditional, where you had to be good, quiet, and or helpful, or even invisible to feel safe, your nervous system learned that. Your nervous system learned that. Okay? Your brain coded, right? And built the blueprint, okay? Right? The foundation of who you were to become, right? The blueprint, okay? It coded it as normal. All right. So if you grew up in a home where love felt conditional, okay, where you had to be good. My family showed no emotion. Yeah. it's hard, right? I mean, I have stuff about my family as well. We didn't talk about stuff. In my family, no, things weren't talked about. Things were not talked about at all. It was just like, the elephant in the room, but the elephant was never like never. It was like never addressed. Okay. And me being an empath, being a small child, seeing all of this, sensing all of it, I was like, what is going on here, right? But being a child still, I didn't comprehend everything. I was just a child, right? I was taught to be seen and not heard, right? I was so, yeah, it's really difficult. It's really difficult. But the good news is, guys, is that that doesn't have to be your present nor your future anymore. That's the good news, right? We may never forget how we grew up in our home. And I say this every single time I come on live and I share a little bit of my story. I have no bad feelings about my family whatsoever. Um, Three members of my immediate family are gone, passed away, my parents and my older brother. I have one other brother, and unfortunately, we do not have a relationship. We do not because of this conditioning and many bad things that happen in my life. Um, I don't blame any of them. It happens, right? And there's another book that's called it didn't start with you, right? This is stuff that gets passed down generations, guys. This is stuff that gets passed down generations. And it is part of the DNA of the family tree. It is part of the DNA of the family tree. But you can change it. You can change it. You can be aware of your patterns. You can face the hard things, heal from it, heal your body, heal your nervous system, and have a different life. I did it. I do. Now, my memory hasn't been wiped away. And when I think on those things, it is unfortunate. When I think on them, I'm like, that is really unfortunate. It makes me sad. But it no longer has the impact and the effects that it used to have. What makes us not remember certain parts of our childhood? I think, at times the body subconsciously um, blurs things away. I do. And so there's therapies, there's therapy, and of course there's hypnotherapy, but yeah, that's a topic for another day. I do believe that hypnotherapy works, but you have to be very careful with who is doing it. You have to do a little research based on that. So I do believe some hypnotherapy approaches do work, but there's also something called EMDR, and you can do it on yourself, or you can find a specialist that you know is an expert in it. Well, not an expert, but is trained in it, and they can do it on you, and it will be helpful to remember certain things about your childhood that um, you're no longer able to remember today. For me, I didn't go down that route because I remembered it enough already. And I don't need to go and find out more because the healing process that I went through, which is my signature program that I offer other people, other women. I only work with women right now. Um, it did it. It actually it helped me, you know, complete the healing process. Um, so I think I answered all the questions, or I read all the comments that were coming in. All right, so if you grew up in a home with emotional unpredictability, okay, a parent who was sometimes warm and sometimes volatile, your nervous system learned to stay on alert, always scanning, right? Always trying to read the room. That's not a character flaw. That a flaw. That's not a character flaw. That is conditioning. Okay. So if you find yourself being that individual today, right? They say that an empath is either born that way or they are made that way because of trauma in their life. Sometimes, as I read more about this, because this is something I cover with my clients, we talk about, empathic traits that they have. And the more I research this and I read on it, I'm thinking, I always thought that I was a born empath. Now I'm thinking maybe I'm a combination of both. Maybe, I was born with some empathic traits, but I was probably also, became more of my spiritual gifts as an empath now have to do with what I had to do for myself to understand and to be able to coexist in the environment that I lived in as I grew up. Because this scanning is something I do now. And it is, like automatic. Whenever I'm going into a new space and a new atmosphere, I'm scanning the room. I'm feeling all the feels. I am taking in all the information of everything and everyone in there. And so I used to think that it was like, oh, this is what an empath does. No, I don't necessarily think that anymore. I think it was because I always had to scan, right? I always had to scan for safety when I was a child. So that's why I wanted to talk about this today. So if you grew up in a home with emotional unpredictability, a parent who was sometimes warm, sometimes volatile, your nervous system learned to stay on alert, always scanning, always trying to read the room. That's not a character flaw. That is conditioning. Okay? That is conditioning. So that's how conditioning can show up in your lives today. Yes, I was told you're hypervigilant. Yes, I'm very hypervigilant. So we in it together, Benedictus. I am very hypervigilant. But like I said, I thought it was because I'm an empath, but I don't think that anymore. I think it was because of the conditioning that I experienced as a child in my home. Now, um, Dr. Bessel van der Kolk, I don't know if I said that right. He's the author of The Body Keeps the Score book. Okay. One of the world's leading trauma researchers. If you ever wanted to look into his stuff, he's excellent with all of this um, content. He wrote a groundbreaking book, which I already mentioned, right? The Body Keeps the Score. His central argument is this. I feel like it keeps me safer to be aware. Me too. I will never delete my hypervigilance. It's just a part of who I am. I can't turn it off. There's like, I don't even know if there's a switch. I don't think there's a switch for me to turn off my hypervigilance. Like it is on all the time. All the time. Are my things, I don't know. Did you guys hear the laughter? Let me know. I don't even know if my effects are working. Let me know. Thank you so much for the little kitties. Okay. So, all right. So let's keep going. Welcome in, Dr. Johnson. Welcome in. Good to see you. Okay, so your nervous system doesn't know the difference between the past Um, where was I? Wait, I think I lost. Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to talk about his central argument, okay? The author of The Body Keeps a Score. His central argument is this: trauma, trauma, okay, is not just a memory. It is a physiological experience stored in your body. Trauma is not just a memory. Thank you for the stickers. It is a physiological experience stored in your body. Your nervous system doesn't know the difference between the past and the present. Okay. So when something in your adult life triggers a familiar feeling, thank you for the populars. A partner who pulls away. Okay. A boss who raises their voice. Someone who needs you. Okay? Your body responds as if you are still that child. The same fear, the same urgency, the same compulsive need to fix, rescue, or shrink. I'm going to say that again. I'm going to give you a personal example. All right? I'm going to say it again. I'm going to give you a personal example. Your nervous system doesn't know the difference between the past and the present. So when something in your adult life triggers a familiar feeling, such as a partner who pulls away, a boss who raises their voice, someone who needs you, your body responds as if you are still that child. The same fear, the same urgency, the same compulsive need to fix, rescue, or shrink. So, what is it for you guys? Do you fix it? Do you rescue or do you shrink? Um, Not many things make me shrink. I think that's just my personality. I have a really strong personality. But do I feel like I have to fix it and rescue? For sure. And my personal example is with my daughter and my granddaughter. I think I isolate and run away. I've been there too. I've done that. I've done that. For sure. Definitely rescue, Jen says. Yes. And Benedict this says, I think I isolate and run away. And these all could be a part of it, right? You may see different things. You know, all of them, right? Noonie just said, honestly, all of them. You said, honestly, all of them, right? It depends on the situation. And it depends on what your nervous system has stored as trauma, right? Because it's going way back based on that conditioning, right? So whatever that conditioning was is going to determine the pattern that you see now. Okay. So my personal story, I was starting to say, my daughter, my granddaughter, right? So for years and years and years, right? Whenever there's things going on with them, and my daughter has, a particular situation where she is 31, going on 32 soon. She has two daughters. One is 5 years old. She's autistic, and my other one is 9 years old, just turned 9 years old. And you know, she's a single mom. My daughter's a single mom. So they commute a lot because they live out in New Jersey. They work and go to school in New York. She's a teacher. So we have that in my family. My mom was a professor, I'm a professor, now my daughter's a teacher. So it's going down the family tree. Um, and she works with kids, ninth graders, middle schoolers, all day long. And then she has her daughter at night and her second daughter on the weekends. And that's a lot. And when she chose to have her children, I really, gave her a lot of advice to kind of wait. Things can get really complicated if you don't have the proper support. Um, you know, I mean, she's just, a young teenager, right? Making adult decisions that she shouldn't have not been making. Don't get me wrong, I love my granddaughters. I would, you know what, for them. I love my granddaughters, right? But that goes without saying, it's still complicated. It's still difficult, right? To be a single mom and raise two daughters now, um, and have to provide for yourself. And it's like at the time when she was having her children, I had like a premonition, first with my oldest, and then again with more urgency on the second one, the youngest one. And I knew at the time that I'm like, if you don't have support, this is going to get really complicated. This is going to get really complicated. You know, it takes a village, okay? And guess what? She's been in situations and times that she had no support. Guess who was the support? Guess who was the support? Put it in the chat. Who you think was the support? Who do you think came to the rescue and to fix it? Who do you think that was? So many times. Me. Yeah. And not that guys, not that I'm complaining or that I wouldn't do it. But when you get into the mode of doing it every single time, Jen says, me, like you, me, yes. When you get into the mode of always doing it all the time, and I'm a productive person, you know, like I've gone into school and I went all the way. I have a doctorate. I went all the way. I love learning. I love evolving. I guess, you know, that helped me wanting to pursue a healing journey. I love you know, now I'm building, I have a business and I'm continuously trying to build it and get my healing program out into the community and, you know, seeing everything that's possible so I can reach more people, reach more women, help more people, right? I've always been that way. If I'm always going to the rescue, right? Thank you so much, Jen. It becomes expected. Yes. You, thank you so much, Jen. I can't do what I feel like as if I'm being called to do. You know what I'm saying? And so most recently, I just never thought this day would come, guys. Like I put my foot down. And I've had to put the foot down in stages, okay? Because like it took a while to like put the foot down and keep the foot down, okay? This just happened just recently where my body, my nervous system wasn't keeping me locked in anymore. It kept me locked in for so long that I had to be the one to go and rescue. I had to be the one to go fix it until recently, like literally recently. And I just felt like it was like the last chip that had to come off of me. This doesn't mean that I don't love my daughter, my granddaughters to death. That is not what I'm saying. I do. And I will still keep supporting when I can and according to my schedule, right? But to throw everything I'm doing and I'm getting done and I'm trying to do for myself and for others to help them and to just to throw it to the curb to go and rescue and fix. I'm not doing that anymore. But what kept me doing it, what kept me stuck and to keep doing it was my nervous system. And until recently, that is no more. And it made me realize that, wow, like my healing journey took place it kind of started in 2018. It went on until about 2023. Like it took a few years, guys. But this was the last chip. This was the last chip. And I was like, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to get rid of this last part. And, it's gone. Like my nervous system does not have me locked in there anymore. It's this need to rescue and to go fix it, you know? And you have to see yourself in the pattern. Because if you don't see yourself in the pattern, you're not going to be able to fix yourself. You have to see yourself in the pattern. If my mom passed on at this stage in my life, I probably Thank you, Derek, for your daily heart mate. I'm so sorry to hear that. Does your mom, why do you say that, Benedictus? Does that mean because she helps you so much? Is that why? Is that why you're saying that? I just not trying to understand. Welcome in, Derek. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Healing Journey Coach. Awesome. I know that we connected in someone else's room. And you've been taking a look at my posts and liking them. I so appreciate your support. Hello, Jean. How are you? Welcome in. Welcome in. Jen says, tough love. Yeah, it's challenging when you are the problem solver. It is expected. Listen, guys, I solve all the problems. I solve all the problems. Okay. I have an injury that surgeons keep saying I need surgery and then they get cold feet. Okay. I have an injury that surgeons keep saying I need surgery, and then they get cold feet or you're getting cold feet. I'm trying to understand, Benedictus. I am okay. How are you? I'm good. I'm good. Good. I'm good. Thank you. Yeah, I solve all the problems, guys. I solve the surgeons do. They get cold feet. I have an injury. The surgeons keep saying I need surgery and then they get cold feet. Maybe we can talk on the sidelines in regards to that. Benedictus, I'm kind of like trying to understand what that means for you. Patty, can we dive in more how to respond? How to respond to what, Jen? How to respond when we want to fix it? Well, um, it's hard. It's hard. Um, Fixing issues, I know. Yeah, it's hard. Well, I'm gonna be transparent with you guys. The last time, I realized that I wasn't getting my stuff done. I get a lot of guilt. Okay, yes, that was me before as well. That stopped. But when I had to respond, when I responded, right, I was harsh. I could be a little harsh sometimes, guys, and I think it's my sensitivity, which is kind of like messed up because people think I'm a harsh person and I'm not. It's just because I'm super sensitive, if that makes any sense. Um, yeah, you too, Jen. I'm super, super sensitive, and people see it as harshness, and I'm not a harsh person. I'm just super sensitive, and it comes off harsh. So, and people misunderstand, but that makes sense. But you have to explain that to people. And some people will still not understand. They won't get it. And that's okay. You try to explain it to them, right? Just had a birthday Monday. Ah, happy birthday, Jean. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. So when I had to tell my daughter, back off, I was harsh. I was harsh. And what I said, bothered me for days. And I have to give her an explanation. But I think she understands where I'm coming from because she knows the work that I'm doing. That she knows that the work that I've done on myself, and she knows the work that I'm doing with others and I'm trying to do with others. And I think she understands it. But still, that conversation has to take place. Okay. So don't do what I did. Okay. Don't do what I did. It's hard for some individuals, it's hard to not respond back harshly. Um, there's better ways to respond, okay? There's better ways to respond. You also want to set her up to be successful. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So you want to explain to them what it's costing you. You have to explain to them what's costing you. I did a live a while ago on what overgiving of yourself costs you, okay? Because that's a good way to become aware. You have to explain to them what it's costing you. It's costing you, to your time, your energy, your finances. For me, reaching out to more clients, um, booking more coaching sessions, right? Because my daughter lives far, right? So it's a lot of driving, okay? And so those are hours in my week, right? And you have to tell them what it's costing you. And you have to tell them where it is, what it is that you're trying to do for yourself. And at the same time, I think it's important to say that you're much older now and you don't have the energy that you used to have. You don't have the physical means anymore that you used to have. I know I don't. I'm older. I'm older. I don't have the physical means. I don't have the energy anymore. Like I can say in a sense, I don't have the capacity anymore to do it so regularly. It's not that I won't be there and show up and support and help. I just don't have the capacity to do it so regularly. And, you have to communicate to individuals. So you have to let them know, like, communicate with them, right? Talk to them. Tell them what it's costing you. Tell them what it's costing you. Okay? Um, so let's see. Overgiving is hard. Patty, is your fiance supportive when she asks for help? Yes, he is. Very much so. Very much so. Thanks for asking, Jen. I have the most supportive fiance ever. Um, and that's another like just testimony to my own healing journey is that, guys, I attracted a lot of unhealthy partners into my life. Um, I mean, you know, physical violence, like physical abuse with some of my partners, emotional abuse, financial abuse, um, to the point of like even psychological abuse. I was married to someone that had narcissistic traits. Welcome in, Faith Queen. Welcome in. Thank you for getting your daily heart me. I was married to someone with narcissistic traits. And, it just felt like as if they started getting worse. The partners just got worse over time, and I wasn't getting it. I wasn't getting it. Okay. Like I wasn't getting it. Okay. Again, nervous system, right? Your body keeps a score, right? It believes that that is what you should have in your life because of the conditioning, but it's not. It's not what you should have in your life. Okay. And I wasn't getting it until, I feel like God just sent me like, okay, you're not getting it, girl. So I'm going to send you this one. You're going to actually marry him. And then hopefully you'll get it. And that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. So God eventually sent me the one, which wasn't the one, but the one to um, set me up, to really start my healing journey. And what was I saying all of this? Now I lost my train of thought. But yeah, I lost my train of thought. Oh, so my fiance. So after my healing journey, it's also about, changing what your energy is attracting, guys. Okay. I'm a Christian woman. I'm a believer in God. I'm a believer in Christ. But the quantum physics, science, there is a lot of truth to that. Okay. There is truth to that. All right. My energy, okay, was attracting unhealthy energy towards me, right? And part of me was unhealthy, right? Because I needed to go through a healing journey. But who God created me to be is good, right? It's good, but I had to dig deep, to find that in me, because when I found that, that's who helped me realize that I deserve better, and that I'm a health educator. I try to role model health to other individuals. I wasn't going to be a hypocrite, right? I wasn't going to be one way and show up another way. So all of that meant a lot to me. It meant everything to me, and I set myself up for my healing journey. So yeah. And once I healed, um, the right person came into my life, completely the opposite person. Um, a safe man, a healthy man, a healthy and safe man, and I just never thought that that could be, well, I'm not going to say I never thought that could be possible. Something in me let me know that it was out there for me, but the key thing was that I couldn't give up on myself. I would not give up on myself. This is how I found him. I would not give up on myself. I knew I could attract what I deserved in my life because who I know who I am. I know who I am. And I knew I could attract the same into my life. And so that's how he came into my life. I did not give up on myself, and a whole lot of prayer. But yes, I have a healthy and safe man in my life, and he's my fiance. I'm gonna just drink a little bit of water. Take that. This is lemon and cucumber water. Okay. All right, guys, let's keep going. All right, so been there and got burnt out with a neighbor. Yes, you do. I'm just trying to read all of the comments. I've been through physical abuse by my first husband. I'm sorry to hear that, Jean. Before our fifth anniversary. Yeah. All right. I think I got everybody's comment. Okay. All right, let me keep going, okay? Because I have a whole lot more to get to. All right. We're going into segment 2, how conditioning shows up in your adult life. How conditioning shows up in your adult life, okay? So, what does this actually look like as a grown individual, okay? Because here's the thing. You didn't wake up one day and decide to overgive, did you? Okay. You didn't wake up one day and decide to stay in relationships, unhealthy relationships, too long, right? Or to feel responsible for everyone else's feelings. You just didn't wake up and just decide that that's how you were going to be, okay? You were trained to. You were trained to. So let me walk you through some of the most common patterns I see in the woman I work with and I saw in myself. Okay. I want you to notice if any of these feel familiar to you. Okay. So this is how conditioning shows up in your adult life, and these should be recognizable. And they're patterns. Okay. So pattern number one, overgiving and emotional exhaustion. That's pattern number one, overgiving and emotional exhaustion. If you grew up in a home, and why is this? Why is this? Why is this a pattern? Overgiving and having emotional exhaustion. Why is this a pattern? So this is why. If you grew up in a home where your role was to be the caretaker, to keep the peace, okay, you were the buffer, right? You're the buffer to manage emotions and to be the good one. Your nervous system learned that love equals performance. Okay. You give because you were taught that giving is how you earn your place. And when you stop giving, anxiety floods in. You may feel guilty, right? You may have anxiety, right? Because somewhere deep down, your body believes that if you stop, you'll lose love, approval, or safety. Okay. So if you grew up in a home where your role was to be a caretaker, to keep the peace, to manage emotions, to be the buffer, to be the good one, your nervous system learned that love equals performance. You give because you were taught that giving is how you earn your place. And when you stop giving, anxiety floods in. All right. Because somewhere deep down in your body believes that if you stop, you'll lose love, approval, or safety. So that was pattern number one. Put one in the chat if that is something you identify with. Put one in the chat if that is something you identify with. Let's put one in the chat if that is something you identify with. That is pattern number one. Pattern number two. One. Okay. Benedictus, thank you. Pat, number one. Okay. All right. Hypervigilant, number one. Noonie. Okay. All right. Any more? Any more, guys? Let's go to pattern number two. Okay. Hypervigilance. Hypervigilance. Always scanning the room. You know, that's mine. um, so this is called dysregulated nervous system. Okay. You are constantly reading people's energy, their moods, and their micro expressions. Yes, that is a word. Micro expressions. You feel everyone else's emotions in your body, sometimes before they even speak. That is conditioned hypervigilance. It kept you safe as a child, and as an adult, it keeps you exhausted. It kept you safe as a child, but as an adult, it keeps you exhausted. So this is hypervigilance, always scanning the room. Put two in the chat if this is you. I'll read it again. This is because of a dysregulated nervous system. Okay. You're constantly reading people's energy, moods, and micro expressions. You feel everyone else's emotions in your body, sometimes before they even speak. This is conditioned hypervigilance. It kept you safe as a child, and as an adult, it keeps you exhausted. So I told you guys as to how it's just something that happens naturally for me. It's like part of me. Noonie says too. Okay. However, it doesn't too. I gained that as an adult after being violated. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Now, how do we smooth that over a little bit? Because if we feel that it's become a part of us, right? Now it's naturally how you show up. Okay. How do you work on this? So what I would suggest is, um, when you are in a space with other individuals, okay, try to not spend too much time in that space. Okay. Spend a lot of time with yourself before going into like a gathering or a get together. You know what your energy is, okay? And once you are in a space with other people there, right? You'll be able to sense you picking up other people's energy right away, and you know what yours is versus what theirs is. Okay, and you have to consciously, like, you know, turn it off. Turn it off. Hello, Brandover Studios. Welcome in. Hello, hello, hello. You got to turn it off, right? If you're unable to, because it takes practice, if you're unable to turn it off, I would say, don't spend too much time in proximity with so many individuals, because that's what leads to the exhaustion. That's what leads to the exhaustion. And so you'll also need to spend some time on your own or alone after. Okay. Because you don't want to carry that exhaustion with you, right? So spend some time alone before, and don't spend too much time in these get-togethers, or being out in public, in a small space for too long, and then go back home and spend some time by yourself. 100%, I had just avoid people as much as I can. Hello, Wanda Sanchez. Welcome in. Good to see you. Thank you for the rose. Thank you for being here, guys. Thank you. Appreciate the roses, the daily heart me's, the shares, the taps. Appreciate it all. Thank you so, so much. Yeah, so Benedictus, we don't have to avoid people altogether, but I understand as far as, monitoring that, right? Because you know what, Benedictus, it's important to have relationships with others, right? And it don't have to be a whole lot of people to have, good, healthy relationships and friendships with. It can just be a few, and that is fulfilling enough. But when we isolate ourselves, and I'm saying this from experience, um, it's going to affect us. If we isolate ourselves, it's going to eventually affect us. See, human beings were created in such a way to be in relationship with other people. And it's unfortunate that so much stuff has happened and so many things have happened that led to us not even being wanting to be in connection or relationship with other people. And I get it. I get it. Like, I totally understand. Okay. Because I've been through some stuff that really, really hurt me, and I was in communities that, circumstances took place, things happened that really, really, really hurt me. And I go back into my shell. But I say this from experience that you have to keep trying to put yourself out there and build healthy relationships with other individuals that have the same goals in a friendship that you do, right? Um, I enjoy my dog more than people. Me too. You heard my dog barking. He's actually really good. Like, he's a really good dog, but he's a barker. He's a barker. He's not a biter. He's a barker. And when he hears things, this is my co-op with uh, my fiance's co-op. When he hear things outside, like the delivery man at the door, he's hyper vigilant. He will bark up a storm. So But other than that, he's a really, really good dog. And I get it. Like me too. I enjoy my dog more than people too. I go out with my dog for walks, play ball in the park, go sunbathing, go reading a book. I've even taken him when I've commuted into the city. He really behaved himself really well in the train. I was so surprised. I've taken him shopping. But it is important to try to connect with individuals. It's important. It is because it doesn't have to happen with a lot of individuals, but I would say, maybe like 1 to 3 people at least, right? To establish friendships and connections with. And there may be some dynamics about the connection that can't be shared in all of the relationships. You get a sense of, you know, what kind of friendship it is, right? And, try not to judge it. Um, and take small steps. Take small steps forward, right? And establishing those relationships. I say that from experience because that is a work in progress in my own life. That's a work in progress in my own life. This coming Saturday, I'm going to an event where I'm meeting new ladies to hopefully build some friendships with. And looking forward to that because I need friendships in my life, right? Everybody does. Everybody needs connection with others in their life. And it's important to pursue those, right? And find those connections that are safe and healthy, right? Now, if they're not safe and they're not healthy, do without them. Absolutely. Okay, pattern number three. Pattern number three. I'm wishing you lots of happiness and meeting genuinely good people at the event. Thank you so much. Me too. Me too. I'll keep you guys posted. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so pattern number three, repeating relationship patterns. Repeating relationship patterns. Have you ever looked up and realized that your romantic partner, your best friend, and your coworker have the same emotional dynamics? That is not a coincidence. Our nervous system seeks out what is familiar, not what is healthy. Familiarity equals safety in the nervous system's language, even when the familiar thing is harmful. This is so key. Okay. There's a gazillion TikTok live hosts that are talking about dysfunctional, toxic relationships in their lives. And I'm like, that's just a part of what I cover. I mean, and when I come on and I go live, like I really do take on a much more holistic approach to my live topics. That is such as that is a it's not small, but it's a part of it, right? But toxic relationships, right? Toxic relationships. And there's a gazillion people in those rooms, and I'm like, okay, I that's just part of what I talk about, but repeating relationship patterns. And they talk about it and they get to talk about all of the negative traits of these individuals that they're in a relationship with. And I'm like, at the bottom line is that you need to heal. Okay. The bottom line is that there needs to be a healing process that takes place here. Let's stop focusing on the toxicity of people and individuals. Let's start focusing on ourselves and get ourselves in a healing process, right? Let's take responsibility and get ourselves healed instead of focusing on the dysfunctional individuals in our relationships, right? Because we're like time is ticking. Time is ticking. We need to get the work done, right? We need to get the work done. Okay, so I'm going to say that again. Put 3 in the chat if you find yourself in repeating relationship patterns. Have you ever looked up and realized that your romantic partner, your best friends, or your coworker have the same emotional dynamics as you. That is not a coincidence. Noonie 3, our nervous system seek out what is familiar, not what is healthy. Familiarity equals safety in the nervous system's language, even when the familiar thing is harmful. Okay, that's number 3. Okay, so personal experience here. So after I got rid of the narcissistic traded husband, I got rid of a whole lot of friendships. I got rid of a whole lot of friendships. Um, and it even went further than that. Workplaces, workplaces. Like my healing journey, it's kind of like it had the healing process is so amazing because it happens in layers. It happens in layers, right? First it was, one of the closest persons to me in my life, my husband at the time. Then it was the second, most closest people in my life, my acquaintances, my friendships at the time. And then it was the next thing, right? My workplace. We spend more time at our jobs than in our own homes at times. So that was the third layer, right, for me, where I can't work in toxic workplaces anymore. Just like like I can't do it. I can't do it anymore. Like I see it, I feel it, I see right through people. This is manipulative, it's toxic. The culture is very toxic, it's very heavy. Um, no, 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 no. And that's another layer I had to you know, take care of, which I did. Even though I've isolated, I have a pattern of landlords who tend to cross boundaries. Yeah. You know, um, it's just everywhere. It really is. It's everywhere nowadays. It's very common. I'm not saying that there aren't safe and healthy people out there. I'm not saying that at all, but it's very common. It is. It's very, very common nowadays. It's horrible, and that's, we have a lot of individuals that need healing. We have a lot of individuals that need healing in this world. You know, it's just people need healing. All right. So that was pattern number 3. Pattern number 4, difficulty with boundaries. Difficulty with boundaries. If speaking up as a child wasn't safe, and if your needs were minimized, dismissed, or punished, then your nervous system learned to collapse when you tried to assert yourself. Let me know if this is a pattern for you. Number 4, that you recognize, a pattern for you that you recognize. You might know intellectually that you need a boundary, but when it comes time to say the words, yes, 100%, your chest tightens, your throat closes. I have this. I've had this. No more. I've had this. And you either over explain, apologize, or cave completely. That is a trauma response, not a personality flaw. Not a personality flaw. And so many people mistaken it as a personality flaw, right? That's not the case. I always over explain. I've done it too. I've done it too. Do not do that anymore, right? And how do you not do that anymore? Go through a healing process, healing journey. You know, people think it's easier said than done, right? It's 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 not. There needs to be a process. There needs to be a healing process, right? Um, yeah, I get it. I totally get it, Benedictus. I've been there. I'm an over explainer as well, but not anymore. I don't over explain myself anymore. And the last person I did this with was my daughter. Um, that was the final chip. That was the last chip, right? I'm not over explaining myself anymore. Why do I have to? Why do I have to over explain something that I don't have to do? Like, why am I doing that? I don't have to do this. Why am I over explaining why I can't do it when I don't have to do it? Okay. So that was number 4. I'll read it again. If speaking as a child wasn't safe, if your needs were minimized, dismissed, or punished, then your nervous system learned to collapse when you try to assert yourself. You might know intellectually that you need a boundary, but when it comes time to say the words, your chest tightens, your throat closes. You either over explain, apologize, or cave completely. This is a trauma response, not a personality flaw. Okay. So if you have a lot of tightening of the throat, I've had that. That's your throat chakra. I resonate with for the most. It's if you are into, like yoga and all of that, like the chakras of the body. I'm telling you guys, this quantum physics stuff is like dead on. That's the throat chakra. And it has to do with if you feel like even when if you get upset and your throat closes in, I've had that. I haven't experienced it in a while, but I definitely had that. It's because, you're not voicing yourself. You haven't been able to voice yourself in circumstances, and that comes from childhood. So there are gonna be things that trigger you, right? That takes you back. That again, that's a trauma response. It's not a personality flaw, it's a trauma response. The body keeps a score. There's trauma in the body living, and your throat closes up because you haven't been able to voice yourself. In whatever situation is happening, you're not able to voice yourself. Okay. And it may not be exact to the present dynamics or whatever situation it is, but your body is remembering it as part of it because it's a trigger response. All right, let me see. I resonate with for the most so far. Yes. How do we heal the throat chakra? My childhood was so traumatic. I try to not let it control me. Okay, Tanika, welcome and thank you for being here and for commenting in the chat. So, how do we heal the throat chakra? Um, a healing process, Benedictus. You have to go through a healing process. Being aware of it, thinking of what happened with you that caused you to not voice yourself. The more that we heal whatever originally happened in that situation and those dynamics, the more you heal on that, right? That's how we take care of it, right? That's how we heal the throat chakra, right? And then also giving yourself the space as you're going through a healing process to voice yourself. Voice yourself. Even if people don't like it. I've voiced myself. People don't like hearing it. Hey, listen, people don't like to hear the truth. People do not like to hear the truth. I voice myself. People don't like it. You know, I'm not going to stay small because you don't want to because you don't want to hear it. Thank you so much for those. What are those again? That's a new gift. I don't remember what it's called. Thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate you, Benedictus. So, voicing yourself, knowing why that trauma response is there, going through a healing journey, going through a healing process, okay? That's how you work on it, and give yourself time. It takes time. It does take time. It does take time. But I've had that up until recently all my life. That throat chakra thing, that tightening of the throat. My childhood was so traumatic, I try not to let it control me. So it doesn't have to control you, Tanika. It doesn't have to control you. You can heal. You can heal. You can heal. There is a healing journey for you. Okay? There is a healing journey for you. I have two more messages. I believe it's contributing to my infertility. It's possible. Yeah, it's possible. Yeah. That's really interesting though. That's some good research there to look into, because these things are connected to our health issues, guys. These things are connected to our health issues. Okay. Also, the tightening that we experience in our body. I am very inflexible. I used to be a runner. Um, I have very tight hips, and I'm always working on my body and my tight hips. And I don't know if I'm ever gonna not have tight hips, but I'm always working on it. I'm always trying to, increase that range of motion, because I believe that goes hand in hand, with still my healing process happening, right? So it's important to work on the body as well, especially where you feel things, where you see things showing up, okay, in your body, because this is a body mind, spirit approach, right? Yes, it's a lot of the emotions, it's a lot of the trauma responses, and and um stored away in your body, but it's all the nervous system, but it's also the physical body. It's also your spiritual life, right? Your mental health. It's all of it. Like it's a spirit, mind, body approach. I believe it's going to, okay. Amen for speaking the truth. I believe the truth can set us free. I do, I do believe that, and there's just a lot of individuals that don't want to hear the truth. Um, but you have to be, you know, you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with that. I'm okay with it because I voice myself, and that's just who I am right now. That's who I am, and people are not gonna want to hear it, and it's like it's okay, it's all right. Um, okay, let's move on. So pattern number 5, performance-based identity. Performance-based identity. Many high-functioning women built their entire sense of worth around what they do. Their achievements, their helpfulness, their reliability. Strip those away and they don't know who they are. This is deeply rooted in a childhood where being and belonging was earned, not given freely. I'm going to read that again. Let me know who recognizes that as a pattern in their life. Number 5, that was number 5, performance-based identity. High-functioning women build their entire sense of worth around what they do, their achievements, their helpfulness, their reliability. If you strip those away, okay, and they don't know who they, if you strip those away, they don't know who they are. They don't know who they are. This is deeply rooted. Hello, Janet. Oh, welcome in. This is deeply rooted in a childhood where being and belonging was earned, not given freely. Being and belonging was earned, not given freely. Okay, that was number 5. Anybody identify with number 5? Thank you for your daily heart, me. Thank you so much. So which one of these hits for you? We just went over five uh ways that conditioning shows up in your adult life. 5 ways that shows up in your adult life. I'll reread the titles of them for those people just coming in. Yes, what we don't get as a child, we overgive as adults. Absolutely. For the most. Okay. Okay, Benedictus. So number one was overgiving and emotional exhaustion. Number two was hypervigilance, always scanning the room. Number three was repeating relationship patterns. Number four was difficulty with boundaries. Number five was performance-based identity. All right. All right, so a little bit of a break before we go into the next segment, okay? Just to talk a little bit about what I offer, okay? As part of what I do. So if you're just coming in the room, my name is Dr. Trish. I am a experienced and well-grounded health educator. I've been a health educator for over 20 years, helping individuals in their health and wellness. I mostly have done a lot of work in prevention, preventing from chronic conditions to happen, and also helping individuals manage chronic conditions and also lose weight, eat healthier, do physical activity. I worked for a lot of research studies. I worked for um, evidence-based programs that were being implemented and and into studies, like through studies and all of that. So that's what my background is in. Currently, I work as a professor at a university, but I also have developed my own healing signature program. It's called the Healing Pathway, and I help Gen X women in particular heal from conditioned pasts. I offer individual coaching and I also offer group coaching as well as a school platform. So I offer something called a freedom from survival mode living session. Okay. This is a space where we can chat privately about what is going on in your life and to see how I can help you. It is about a 45-minute session. Usually it goes a little over. I am okay with that. I am not someone that keeps the time, no matter how busy I am. I love to be present with individuals that are interested in a healing and healing taking place in their lives. Have it be you book with me or you don't, right? Just to have that connection and just to have that discussion. So if you're interested in that, you can um, click on the service button. I have my shop open right now, so I don't think I can put it up. No, I don't. I can't. Let me, okay, I think I could do it now. I think. There we go. Do you guys see a service plus button on the screen? Let me know if you guys see that. There it is. Okay, so that's a way to get in touch with me, okay? It'll go straight to my direct messages. It doesn't get kind of like lost in all of the messages from other people because TikTok makes sure I see it and I get it. So that's how you can get in touch with me and we can set up a freedom from survival mode living session. All right. So this is a dedicated one-on-one conversation. Um, Oleg, I'm gonna need you to behave yourself or else I'm gonna mute you. And even worse, I'm gonna block you from my room. Okay? All right. Um, So this is a dedicated one-on-one conversation. Okay, no problem, Alec. Um, where we look at your specific patterns, where they came from, and what the pathway looks like for you. Okay. I tailor all of my work that I do with my clients when I meet with them, whatever type of reflective uh, exercise work that I give my clients until we meet the next session. I tailor it for them. So because everybody's situation is different, we're all on a healing journey, right? The signature program stands as it is, but depending on the needs of my clients, I tailor things for them. So it's not a generic program, okay? It's not a cookie cutter approach. It is my very own personal journey process that I put into a roadmap, a program that I offer now to my clients. So we'll talk about that in our Freedom from Survival Mode Living session. That is the very beginning. That's the first step. Um, if you are not able to work with me for whatever reason, I offer you, access to the school platform. And the school platform is free. It's completely free right now. Okay. Because I never want finances to be a hindrance. And the school platform, you will have many modules, and it's a self-paced approach to your healing journey. So there's many modules with audibles, kind of like what you guys heard if you were here at the very beginning when I first started my live. There are videos, there are journals that are downloadable, um, filled with reflective exercises to help you through your healing process because we have to sit with our stuff and we have to reflect and we have to reflect through it, right? And understand, where do these things come from? Where did the conditioning happen in, right? So it's work. It's actually work, right? You may not have me as your one-on-one coach, okay? But you can start the work on your own at your own pace. The one thing I do ask is that if you come into the school platform, that you do the work, right? It's no marathon. You can choose to walk, you can choose to jog, or you can choose to run through it, right? Um, I probably prefer not that you run through it and you take your time with the material, but that is another way that you can work with me. If there's enough individuals and the timing works out where we can do group coaching, that is another way that individuals can work with me. I think in the near future, and I have to set it up, where I will do smaller groups, meaning timeline wise, because my program is 3 months long. Okay, a healing journey can take time. So I can even make it a 6 month thing, but I know people are not really interested at times to, jump into something that is a 6 month commitment. So I've made it a 3 month program. However, I want to have some boot camps. I want to be able to develop some workshops where I am taking from my coaching program some material from there and offer it as like a 3-day workshop for individuals, and it'll be groups of people. Um, so that's coming up, and those are the ways that you guys can work with me. So let me know if any of that sounds interesting to you. Again, the service, I don't think I can put it up because so many times I can put it up. Let me see. There it is. If you are interested in that, please send me a message. TikTok, make sure I get this message. It doesn't get kind of like, lost with all of the other things in there in my inbox. But that would be great if you guys wanted to pursue that. 2 out of 2 clarification from the work they do in the school platform. 2 out of 2 clarification from the work they do in the school platform. What do you mean? Yes, it sounds amazing. Thank you, Noonie. I'm not understand. You messaged me, Noonie? Okay. 2 out of 2 clarification from the work they do in the school platform? What do you mean? So the school platform, let me see if I can show you guys. How could I show you? I wrote something about that. Oh, yes, I don't see it. Did it get, maybe it got filtered, Benedictus. I think it got filtered. I don't see it. Let me get my laptop, guys, so you can kind of get a sneak peek as to what the school looks like. One second. All right, let's see. I'm using all my devices now, so I'm like, what device can I use? Let's see. I wrote some, I didn't see that. Benedictus, I'm so sorry. I didn't see that. All right. I think it got filtered. I'm gonna show you guys what the school platform looks like. And then we'll keep moving. Oh, you wrote it in the message from me. Okay. I'll see it once I end the live. Okay, let me see. Okay, so hopefully the glare is not going to be. This is the school platform. Okay. I have my touch screen laptop here. Oops. Did I just move that? Oh my God, I'm moving things here. Oh, touch sensitive. Okay. So this is the school platform, and these are the modules that are in there, guys, right now. Okay, so these are the modules that are in there. And then within each one, there is a video, and then there's some work there for you to do. I don't want to mess anything up. This is a touch screen. I think so if you go into, like, for example, this one right here. Okay, there's a video and there's material and then some instructions that's going to tell you what you need to do. So there are several modules in there, and that's what the school platform looks like. There is a community tab, and people just put, oops, I'm touching things, guys. What happened? Okay. This is the community. And every time I put something up, I put it up there. So that's the community. And then there's a calendar, and I post in there as to like when I'm gonna go live. All right, so that is what the school platform looks like, and it's called the Healing Community. All right, so I showed that. Any questions about that? Let me know if there's any questions before I move on. No questions. Okay. All right. So segment 3, the nervous system. Why insight alone isn't enough. The school platform looks amazing. Thank you. I'm building it. I'm building it. Little by little, I'm building it. I'm very intentional with what I put up there, and I um I want it to be good stuff for you guys, and help you along your journey process. Okay, so segment number 3, the nervous system, why insight alone isn't enough. We're at segment number 3, 3 out of 5. So we're gonna keep going, okay? We're gonna keep going. Because I have to end a little bit before 5 o'clock. I have student office hours. So about 4:45, 4:50, I have to like log off. So let's get through this. So, okay, I want to come back to something really important here, because this is where most healing approaches they fall short. It's something I'm deeply passionate about. You can spend many years in talk therapy, and I say that because I've been there. I've been there. Um, you can read every self-help book, okay? So you can seek out information, right? You can read all the books, you can seek out therapy, okay? You can understand the patterns intellectually, okay, pretty well. And even be able to trace them back, even be able to trace them back to your mother, your father, your childhood home, and still find yourself repeating those patterns, okay? Because understanding alone does not heal a dysregulated nervous system. Understanding alone does not heal a dysregulated nervous system. This is one of the most powerful messages um, that even the book, The Body Keeps the Score, talks about. Um, because trauma is stored somatically, okay, meaning it's in the body, all right? Cognitive insight, right? Cognitive insight is not enough to release it. All right. The body has to be part of the healing process. The body has to be part of the healing process. Think about it in this way. When you have a trauma response, that flood of anxiety that comes in, that freeze, right? Your trigger responses could be fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, right? Fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. That urge to fix or to flee. That is not your mind's making the decision. That is your brainstem right here. And that's connected to your brain and to the rest of your body. Well, in part, specifically your nervous system. So I've covered this in past lives. I gave you guys like and there's a module in the school community, the school platform that goes through all of this. So your nervous system is made up of systems. So it's a system of systems is what I like to call it. It starts with your brain and your spinal cord. That is the central nervous system. Then after that is the peripheral nervous system. The peripheral nervous system is the nerves that are coming out of your spinal cord. Okay. And so the brainstem is right here by like under your head, your head, your the head part of your brain, and it's right here, and it's what's connected to your spinal cord. All right. So the most primitive part of your brain, that's the most primitive part of your brain, that part that doesn't respond to logic, it responds to safety. Okay. It responds to safety, to rhythms, to sensation, and to regulation. Okay. So the brainstem is responsible, okay, for the nervous system healing that takes place in your body, okay? That part does not respond to logic. The brainstem does not respond to logic. It responds to safety. It responds to rhythm. It responds to sensation, and it responds to regulation. In my coaching sessions with my clients, if there is something or an individual most of the time that is causing harm in your life, in their lives, we have to really discuss that and what does that look like and how close it is. How close is that someone in your life? Are you living with them? Are you in the same, space with them? Because if they're causing harm to you, they're causing harm to your nervous system. And you have to get rid of that. You have to get rid of it. Okay. Because it's going to continue to cause you harm in your nervous system. Okay. So H is the first acronym in the Healing Path program, and it stands for reducing the harm. We have to reduce the harm in your life. So again, the brainstem does not respond to logic. It responds to safety. It responds to rhythm. It responds to sensation, and it responds to regulation. Nervous system regulation is very, very important. Very, very important. That is exactly why, again, in the Healing Path program, I don't just teach women to think their own ways through patterns, but we work in sequence, and that sequence matters. Okay. We work in sequence, and that sequence matters. Here's what that looks like. All right. Here's what that looks like. So there are 3 phases in my healing program. The first phase is called, well, it's actually all about sanctuary. It's all about sanctuary. Before you can decode anything, before you can understand your attachment style, before you work on boundaries, you need to create internal safety. You need to interrupt the harm and stabilize your nervous system, because you cannot do healing work from a dysregulated state. You just can't. It just doesn't work that way. This means practical tools, okay? So there's many nervous system regulation exercises out there. There's the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 sensory countdown. There's the box breathing. I like to call it the 4x4 breathing. That's my favorite one. It really works. Like, it really works, but there's so many others. But for example, the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is a sensory countdown grounding technique that pulls you out of a triggered state and back into the present moment. Okay. It means learning detachment from whatever's harming you, whatever's harming your nervous system. It's not disconnection, it's detachment, but emotional detachment from unsafe dynamics so that you can think clearly, right? They're emotional detachments from unsafe dynamics so you can think clearly. It means the pause, okay? Stopping the automatic response before it happens. So, the autonomic response, what is that? So within the peripheral nervous system, there are again, I said that the nervous system is a system of systems. So it starts with the central nervous system and then it's the peripheral nervous system. Within the peripheral nervous system, you have the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system. Okay. In the sympathetic nervous system, you have the autonomic nervous system. It's a system of systems. So I teach this in that school platform module. Okay. But it's the pause is stopping the automatic response before it happens. So I'll explain it another way. Something happens, okay? You're driving and you almost got into an accident and you have a trigger response, okay? And this happens so quickly, like within a matter of seconds, right? Um, that's like, normal. That's normal because, you know, you almost got into an accident. However, let's say the person that you almost got into an accident with comes out of that car and now they're approaching your car and they're like just screaming up a storm, cursing and all of those things. Okay. So now your nervous system can get triggered in a way that it could show up as freeze, fight, flight, or fawn. Okay. And it can be integrated with the stored trauma living in your body. Okay. So the pause works specifically in situations like that where it stops the auto automatic response before it happens. Now, this is why fights break out because of some accident that was supposed to take place, but it didn't. And now people are fighting on the street, right? Um, through working on your nervous system and regulating it and healing it, your responses change over time. So, this is why healing the body is so important, okay? Because information and what you're learning and all of the um, books you're reading and all of the podcasts you're listening to, it's just not going to work. It's not going to work because of how the the information is stored in your body, that trauma. Okay. Only through nervous system regulation exercises this can be solved. So I go back to what I had said before. It's about establishing rhythms, okay? It's about establishing practices, rhythms, and practices. It's a new lifestyle that one needs to live. It's a new lifestyle, okay? So that's phase one. And that's establishing sanctuary. But we're not able to do that if we don't reduce the harm. Because if the harm is still, in our space, how do we ever get a break from it? We don't. So reducing the harm is very, very important. In my personal experience, in my personal story, reducing the harm was separating from my ex-husband because he had narcissistic traits. And so we being within the space of that all the time was not going to help me at all. So separating from the harm, separating from what was causing me harm was my first thing. And my first thing to do. And that's why it's part of the first phase of my program. Until I did that, nothing else could have happened. Like nothing, my healing journey could have not started because I needed to reduce the harm first and foremost. Does that make sense, guys? That makes sense? Put a yes in the chat if that makes sense. Put a yes in the chat if that makes sense. Phase two is about decoding the pattern. Decoding the pattern. Once you have some safety, yes, it makes a lot of sense. Good. Phase two is about decoding the pattern, decoding the pattern. Once you have some safety established, now we can look at the patterns without shame. Okay. And this is where it gets really freeing because when you can trace a pattern back to its origin, you stop taking it personally. You stop taking it personally. It makes a lot of sense. Good. Because when you trace a pattern back to its origin, you stop taking it personally. You realize, of course, I overgive, right? Of course I overgive. I learned that. You can say to yourself, I learned that in order to survive. I had to earn love through service. It wasn't a choice, it was conditioning. So I use many different types of tools. Some of them, well, one is called generational cycle map. Generational cycle map, where I help my clients trace where these attachment habits began. Sometimes even generations back, not necessarily with your parents, but it could be with your parents' parents. Okay. Like I had said, this is passed down, okay, throughout generations. We also use something called strategy ID, which helps recognize the survival strategies you develop as a child, things like overgiving, scanning, rescuing, people pleasing, and we begin to differentiate what is your conditioning and what is your character. Very important. What is your conditioning and what is your character? Because those are not the same thing. Okay? Sometimes I really do think it's a generational curse I was given. There are generational curses, but you don't have to claim that. And it doesn't necessarily have to mold who you are and shape your future. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That part, right, Noonie? So that part is really important because that's the part that rescued me. I rescued myself, guys. This is all about you coming to the rescue for yourself. Stop rescuing other people. Rescue yourself. Rescue yourself. Be your own hero. Yeah. And I can put it in words and teach it, but at the time when it was happening to me, I had to go by it and believe it through my intuition, guys. This was just my intuition. Like I'm telling you, I had to like dig deep and find, my character because it was being like hovered over, the conditioned part of me, the conditioned self. It was being hovered. My character was being hovered over by this conditioned self. And I had to find her and dig her out and say, this is not who I am. This is not who I am. Something is happening. I'm losing myself. And I identified that someone was causing harm in my life, and I had to reduce the harm. I had to reduce the harm, and I did. And I say it like 1, 2, 3, right? Of course, it was a process. It was the beginning. It was the beginning of my healing journey. There's a whole lot of work and a whole lot of hard work, but hey, I have a doctorate, guys, in health education. I ran a marathon in 2017. I ran it as an amateur runner and I did it in under 5 hours. Some people like you ran a marathon, like there's 1 in 5 people in the world run marathons. That has nothing. It means that's nothing compared to going through my healing journey. Nothing. Nothing. I'll lose that. I'll lose the marathon title. I'll lose the doctorate title any day, any day. But I will not lose my healing journey. I will not lose it. I will never give it up. Never, never, ever, ever, ever. All right. So phase 3 is embodied freedom. Phase 3 is embodied freedom. Thank you for the kitty cat. You're awesome. Thank you so much. Um, embodied freedom. This is where the real work lands in the body, where we teach the nervous system that it is safe now, not just through thoughts or affirmations, but through daily somatic practices, which I already mentioned before, um, and through cue tracking, CUE, cue tracking, through learning to stay with sensation instead of overriding it. Okay. So it's sitting. It's like sitting with feelings, sitting with it. And some of the feelings don't feel great at all, but it's sitting with it. Hello, Stacy Gregory. Welcome in, welcome in. The goal isn't just to understand your patterns. The goal is to live differently. The goal is to live differently. No worries, Jean. Thank you for coming back. All right, so let's keep moving. Oh my gosh, it's 4:45 already. Okay, segment 4. Good afternoon, Stacy. Segment 4, breaking the cycle, breaking the cycle. What healing actually requires. Okay, I want to talk about something that doesn't get said enough in healing spaces, and that is the concept of sequence. I mentioned this before in the last phase. Welcome in, Big Tiffy. Welcome in. Make sure you guys grab your daily heart me if you haven't gotten it already. That really, really helps out my live and my room. Okay. Um, yes, Jean. Let me reach out to you, okay? Let me reach out to you. It's gonna be via email, okay? I'll reach out to you, Jean. Jean is on my other um account on TikTok and she's asking to meet with me. Okay. All right. Um, okay, we're good. I was just making sure there was no more other comments that I didn't read. So, sequence. I mentioned it before, previously. One of the things that I've seen derail in so many women, um, that are smart, motivated, they're self-aware women, is that they're trying to do the healing out of order. They're trying to do the healing out of order. Okay. They want to go straight to the deep work, the inner child work, the shadow work, the attachment work, but they haven't stabilized the nervous system first. It is so important to do this work in sequence, okay? Even my stuff in the school platform, it's in sequences. It's in order. It's in a consecutive order. You do not have access to some of the modules until you've done the previous ones because it goes in an order, okay? And that is intentional. So it's like trying to renovate a house while it's still on fire, right? You know, so remember your house is your body. So in particular, when it comes to a healing process, it's your nervous system. It's your nervous system. Okay. So in the book, Your Body Keeps a Score, he talks about this. He talks about this. He talks about the window of tolerance. It's called the window of tolerance in his book, which is the zone where the nervous system can actually process and integrate experience. It is a zone in which the nervous system can actually process and integrate experience. When you're outside that window, either too activated or anxious, okay, maybe shut down or being disassociated, you cannot heal. You cannot heal. You can only survive. We don't want survivorship. We want healing. We don't want survivorship. We want healing, right? So the sequence is non-negotiable. The sequence is non-negotiable. Safety first, understanding seconds, embodiment third. Okay? Safety first, understanding is second, embodiment third. So some people may say, like, oh, but Dr. Trish, I've been in therapy for years. I know my patterns. Why am I still stuck? Okay, that was my questions. I've been through that as well. So this is my answer to y'all. Okay, awareness is the first step to transformation. Awareness is the first step to transformation. Awareness will get you to me. I have clients that because their awareness kind of like popped up and showed up, it brought them to me. Because if you're not aware, how could you even think on a healing journey? Okay, so awareness is the first step to transformation. Awareness is just the beginning, though. Okay, the nervous system doesn't update just because the mind understands something new. The body has to experience safety over and over until it trusts that the danger is gone. Many women want to jump into an unhealthy relationship yet again after breaking up an unhealthy relationship, breaking free from an unhealthy relationship. I'm saying that from experience because I did it. Okay? I'm saying that from experience because I did that. I did that. All right? I did that so many times where I was like sick of being sick. Okay? You know when you get sick and tired of being sick and tired? Okay? I've been there. I've been there. I've done it. All right? So the nervous system doesn't just update because the mind understands something new. The body has to experience safety over and over until it trusts that the danger is gone. Okay? Following the sequence your nervous system actually needs. Yes, yes, Benedictus, yeah. So now let me give you something practical. 3 things you can start doing right now, today, to even begin shifting out of survival mode. These are 3 things. Number 1, pause. Pause. Before you respond to anything emotionally triggering, have it be it's a text, a conflict, a request. Pause. Pause. Okay? Take breaths. Deep breathe in and deep breathe out. That pause interrupts the automatic condition response and it creates just enough space for a new choice to be possible. It's small, but it's very powerful. So pause. Pause. Okay? Just remember the word pause. Pause. Number 2, name what you feel in your body, not your head. Name what you feel in your body, not your head. So you don't want to do like, I feel like he doesn't appreciate me. But name what you're feeling. Thank you so much, Benedictus, for putting that in your in the chat. That's hard sometimes. I know. I've been through it. I messed up. I effed it up so many times, but I got it. I got it. Um, name what you feel in your body, not your head. Okay. Um, so what's going on in the body? There's tightness in my chest. There's tightness in my chest, not he feels that way because he doesn't appreciate me. What is going on with you? What is going on with you? Okay. So you can say my shoulders are up around my ears. My stomach feels hollow. When you bring attention into the body, you activate the part of the nervous system that can actually regulate. That is not about being dramatic, okay? This is neuroscience right here. Okay, so name what you feel, not in your body, not your head. Don't listen to what your mind is saying. Okay? Name what your body is feeling. I get panic attacks sometimes. That's hard sometimes. I understand. I know, Jean. We talked about this. But yes, I'm gonna go a little faster because I gotta end it, guys. I'm so sorry. I got a 5 o'clock student office hours I gotta jump into. Um, Number 3, ask yourself, is this now or is it then? Is this like happening now or was this back then? When you feel that flood of fear of urgency in a situation, ask, am I actually in danger right now? In this moment? Or is my body remembering something from before? You will be surprised how often the answer is, this is then. It's not now. That one question can begin to retrain your nervous system. That one question. Ask yourself, is this now or is this back then? Please ask yourself that question. Again, pause, right? Pause, breathe. Okay. Pause and breathe. Just enough space for a new choice to be there. There's a new choice, okay? You don't have to make, the immediate choice. There's a new choice, okay? Number 2, name what you feel in your body, not your head. And number 3, ask yourself, is this now or is it from back then? Those 3 things, guys. Very, very powerful. Okay? All right, it's 4:55. I do have one more. Let me see if I can get through this really quick because I like to complete what I started. Segment 5 is a transformation, what freedom looks like. I want to paint a picture for you. Thank you so much, Benedictus, for putting that in the chat. Because I think sometimes we get so deep in the survival that we forget to look up and imagine something different. What does it actually look like on the other side of this work? The women I work with have moved through the healing path. The women that have worked with me through the healing path, no problem, absolutely. They describe this as embodied freedom. And here's what that looks like in real life. Because I've talked about embodied freedom, embodied healing quite a bit. This is what it is. They still care very deeply, but they no longer carry the weight of other people's choices. They're still that loving, caring person. Character, remember? Not conditioning, character. Okay? That's what I call healed empathy. So it's not just having empathy. I'm extremely empathic. I have extreme empathy. It's healed empathy. Healed empathy. Okay? Healed empathy. You can feel compassion without being consumed by it. They have boundaries that feel natural, not cruel, not rigid, but honest. Boundaries that come from a regulated nervous system rather than a fear response. and their relationships feel reciprocal. Not perfect, there's nothing perfect out there, but mutual. They are no longer the only one showing up, the only one giving, and the only one invested. They trust themselves, not because life got easier, but because they learned to read their own internal signals instead of outsourcing their safety to other people. And spiritually, they moved from performance-based faith, if you are a believer, if you're a Christian and active in church, doing all the right things to earn God's approval, to a faith that feels like being aligned with God. Completely changes your relationship with God. It's like rest, right? And when you feel rested, you feel peace. And it's also like being known. It's beautiful. It really, really is. Healing is no longer something you work on. It becomes on how you live. It's your lifestyle. It's your new lifestyle. That is what I want for every single one of you guys. Every single one of you. And I believe it's available to you. Not someday, not after you have it figured it all out, but through a real sequenced embodied process. And that's what I offer. That's what I offer, guys. So that is what I have for you guys. I can't believe I got through all of it. Yeah, I hope this helped you guys. I'm gonna have to jump off and jump into my student office hours. Um, but I so appreciate every single person that's been in here, commenting, listening, sharing, tapping, and anything you did as far as the gifts and the thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Again, if you guys want to reach out to me, there is my Service Plus. Jean, I don't have a Service Plus set up on this account as of yet. This is my backup. When can you email? Yes, I will email you. Yes, I will email you. All right, and everybody at the YT, I hope this was helpful to you guys. Thank you so much. I went like this because I can't say the full platform name on TikTok. They get jealous. God bless you guys. I will talk to you soon. I will see you in my DM, and I look forward to the next live. I usually do a flyer and I post when I'm going to go live, especially if I'll do a pop-up live, but I will be back next Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, if not sooner. All right. God bless you, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.